What else? Okay, so they had doctors sexually harassing me. They had patients sexually harassing me. They had, people coming by saying nice tattoo every time I'd shower there. They'd have people look at my tits and lick their lips, or directly say they're going to impregnate me, and it went on and on. It was constant sexual harassment from doctors and patients, both in the Loony bin. The idea, as I found out, being that if I didn't declare what had happened, an abortion, I was going to get gang raped. And I mean, come on, man. There's no incentive there, actually. Why? Because you're damned if you do and you're damned. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. If they're already that deranged, then they'll do it as a fuck you on the way out the door. So fuck you, man. Fuck you, right? So I was like, well, I'm not calling it an abortion. You're fucked either way, man. Like, just get on with it, right? And so they had a nurse say, will you take iron pills? And I was like, I don't want to take anything. I don't want to take anything. I don't want to take anything in here. It's just iron, because you're anemic. Okay, they asked me what, if I thought I was thin. I was like, yeah, man, I don't know why I'm so skinny. And if you have recordings, I mean, I did reference my sister. I was like, I would rather be like that. Maybe not short. She's not short, but like I like my height. But yeah, man, that's it. So she like jacked all the curves in the room. It's bullshit. So and I mean, I don't know what you have recorded. So if I'm lying, by all means, go ahead and show it. There was a patient there were a few patients that did things to protect me. They understood what was going on. And at one point I had to tell, this was really traumatizing, sorry. At one point I had to tell one of them just to let it happen if it was going to happen, because they were just going to hurt him. Anyway, it was so bad, dude. That's what you fuckers are going to do, like get me back in some torture shit. So, and they had a hooker. I came out being like, you are affecting me, you are poisoning me. And I came out abroad to be like, look how fucking skinny I am. There's something in the goddamn eggs, like I said. And then they had a hooker come in, like, and be butt naked. And it was to be like, she must be a hooker. It wasn't that, it was mad at the staff, because I knew what they were doing. And then, anyway, so, they had, so I was distracted by these Aquaman and, so they had, when they said they were gonna sodomize me specifically, as a group, they were starting to hand out lotion to each other. You might see this on tape. That's what it was about. They had, again, 4 doctors pin me down unnecessarily and inject me in both hips with antipsychotics I didn't need and whatever else they felt like putting in there. They had a doctor come in and put a needle in my arm for a TB shot or whatever it was. They had, and they pulled my pants like actually down, like it's not necessary to do that. They had a doctor in a brand new Christian camp sweatshirt who was transferred. He didn't even work there, yawn, play basketball with me, and tell me he didn't think that I played sports, right? And asked me to throw the ball at him. That and the, I don't know, good-looking one was out there. And then they asked me to do yoga with them, but the way that they asked, I knew it was something, so I said no. Then they put on Men in Black and Married with Children and Marijuana Wars. And then they had some show on ghosts, which you would never play in a loony bin. And it was constant, man. They were calling me Tarara Boom Die, which was, no one would know that but my father. It was what my dad called me when I was like 3, and that's what they would all address me, Tarara Boom Die. It's creepy shit, man. You know, they would be like, the Sonoma Hills are warming up. You know, I knew my father was selling out, and they had my dad come down and fake a bunch of shit. When my father, before he came down, they had just injected me with antipsychotics, so I was like this because I was in double the amount. I don't need them, and I'm already highly sensitive to stuff. And when they did that, I was like, my body was like flooded and freaking out, being like, I don't like this, and just feeling awful. And that's when my father was there, so probably they recorded that. And my dad said something about Jesse Kipperman wasn't true, and then he said, you know, for someone as talented as Tara, blah blah blah. And you know, it was, I don't know, man, it was all, I don't know. It was confused. It was like he was kind of trying to fight for me, and he wasn't at all. And they had a woman talk about bringing me an animal totem book. She was kind of nice. She was one of the doctors. She knew. You know, she knew. She's still their team, but she knew. They had the Asian doctor high five. You see her high five this guy because he gave me a TB shot, and that was something. After I got pinned down is when they were like, so are you going to take those iron pills? And they're like, because we'll keep pinning you down if you don't. So that's why I kept doing it. I was like, okay, but I was cheating him because I don't know what the fuck that is. And then they wanted me to write in a notebook, write a bunch of stuff in this notebook, but they don't have the notebook. I showed you I had the notebook after. They never looked at it. And actually I wasn't really writing. I was drawing symbols, runes. They asked me to play cards with them, but the way they asked, I knew it was something, so I didn't. They asked me to do a collage of foods that I like. Now make sure it's actually the thing that I made, because what I made was a variety of different foods, vegetables and fruits and salads and rices and and then even some like cookies and stuff like that. And they're like, you only picked attractive foods. And I was like, actually, if you're a nutritionist, you know that what you're eating should look like a rainbow. Thanks, idiots. Just don't argue with me. They were saying, have fun in the winter. Have fun in the winter. They knew they were going to make me homeless. They were asking me about Abe. Where is Abe? Beloved, which I don't even think that's legal either. That was Fran's friends. She might have a recording of her in Fran's house, and with her little son Rex, and her 2. It's Fran's friend, and yet she's in the loony bin. Gosh, I wonder if there's a connection there. And she's asking me about Abe, and I didn't want to answer because I was like, well, if they don't know, they don't know. And I don't want them to know shit, so I just kept being like, he's around, because I'm not giving them info, man. He is around, it's not inaccurate. And anyway, yeah, it was pretty fucked up. And then one of the doctors was like, we're gonna try to 5250 you. We're very by the book. And Dr. Phillip or whatever. And then I told you they did those things of waking me up with the clients, the patients, you know, waking me up with shouting and stuff, and then I would come out and they'd be like, oh, she's on drugs, but it's really because the patients are shouting, usually about what they're going to do. Some of them looking at me and being like, I really want to use a hammer right now. Like crazy shit. And the doctor's egging it on. That a girl, you know, things like that. Ton of shit, man. Ton of shit. And at one point I was addressing Richard because I was like, it's bought out. There's videotapes, and if you have a videotape, then am I wrong? No. I figured you did. And I addressed Richard, and I was like, and I gave some speech about you don't want to fuck with me, Richard, because you really don't know who I am. No, I was bluffing a little, but he really didn't know who I was. So, you might have a tape on that. I think you called it schizophrenia. Well, if you have a tape, it's not. I didn't. It was Richard's game. And by the way, that facility had only been built 6 months prior.